say hello. Welcome to the virtual Daytona International way here for qualifying and the duels here for week 1, season 7 of the AWC Pro Series here from once again the World Center of Racing here from Daytona. Hello, my name is Christian Delgado. Matthew Prochatsky will be joining us later tonight's broadcast here to give me some company here from the World Center of Racing. And for Daytona, obviously, a lot has changed during the offseason. Obviously, we used to call this AWC Pro Series. Obviously, the AWC guys have now partnered. They knew to bring in some more guys and everything else. We're really excited to see how this goes about here. Ready to go racing here from Daytona. Obviously, still practice underway here. We'll have to go through qualifying, and then we'll have 2 duels tonight here from Daytona to set the field for next week for the 250 here from Daytona. And obviously really exciting stuff to go through. Obviously we have some of our AWC front runners that we saw last year coming back to the series, and we also have a lot of new drivers from the ARC side of things that we're so excited to have on the broadcasting network, and also just so excited to have continue this partnership with the AWC/ARC guys now. Glad to be able to be a part of this, and glad to be able to call the action here tonight. But yeah, a lot to go through. Obviously, no point standings. Obviously, it's week 1, duels and qualifying. But some notable things to talk about here as we get ready to go into tonight's broadcast. Go through and look at some new storylines here. Obviously, we just talked about it. To kick off the merger between the AWC Pro Series and the ARC iRacing League. It's going to be a big thing, and I'm really excited to see what can happen here. We've had our largest registration success here with the AWC side of things now, with 96 drivers and counting. You're signing up 40 rookies and eligible for contention for the Rookie of the Year standings if they all decide to show up and show out here for every week of the season. I mean, even look at the NASCAR Cup Series, you get maybe 7, 8, 9 drivers at most racing for Rookie of the Year. We have 40 drivers who are eligible to race for the Rookie of the Year standings. And something to talk about here. Next week, the Daytona 250 will have a new winner regardless, because every winner in the past seasons here on the sim have decided not to show up, or decided not to come back to the series with other things in the way there. So it's going to be really interesting to see how that comes about, right? Some big movers coming into tonight's season. Bryson Bird, Wyatt Roberts have formed a new team. Obviously, we saw those two teammates last year in the CU Motorsports camp. They've decided to split off, still affiliates with CU, but I've started Firebird Motorsports, and I saw those cars. It's going to be really cool to see those cars out on track for the rest of the season. And JSR, Jake Scarborough Racing and Arctic Esports, owned by Tim Galley Jr. We'll have the direct alliance in the plate races and everything else, so look for those 2 teams to work together here. Obviously, Bill Farlow, when we get into qualifying, has been a menace here when it comes to getting the pole, getting that track position here early, but I think it's time right now to go trackside here. Let some of the fastest drivers go and coming these cars out for the first time here in the ARC iRacing Pro Series. Going to go down trackside here, practice. Trying to get a camera. Got him now. Look at the wrong buttons here. You see just over 10 minutes left in practice here. This is usually around when we go live here, but obviously we have a lot more to talk about, a lot more drivers to show off here, and a lot more just to talk about with the new merger and everything else. But I think now we do have our cameras working here. The trackside here, looking at some new drivers here in the AWC Pro Series. Look here at the number 90, Ashton Thomas. He's making his debut here on the network, at least. Obviously, I believe one of the ARC drivers who have maybe come about here. I'm not sure because I do see the AWC Pro Series banner there. I don't remember a lot of the 90 here from these last couple of seasons, but the AWC banner on that number. We're rocking the old banner here on that number 90. Look at some other drivers here on track. The Madigan in the number 66. I believe his first start here in AWC Pro Series. Obviously, I raced with Joseph on the sim. Actually, in another series that we broadcast here now in the ISNF Cup Series, Joseph ran a couple of races there with me when I was racing as a full-time driver. So Joseph, someone to look out for, really talented driver in that number 66 Toyota Supra. Look out for him to be fast. Stump in the number 10. Another new driver here today, to the network at least. Obviously, I'm very unaware of who came from ARC to the AWC side of things, or maybe these are just brand new drivers who just found the league and we're excited to want to be a part of this new growing and upcoming series here with the ARC iRacing series. But you see the Christian Stump right now, he's back there, P1. Looking at some of your faster drivers here on track right now. Jackson Jones in the number 94. Up there, the P6. Obviously, I would say for the most part that lap times and stuff aren't going to really matter here in practice. What's really going to be the deciding factor is that as the qualifying here at 8 minutes. I am really excited to show you guys here down the line here. Obviously, we're in the duels. We are still working on some graphic packages in the background here to get some things setting underway here, but we got a lot of cool things here set out and ready to go here. At least when we get to the 250 here, this next Friday, some new packages, some new stuff that we want to introduce here. I'm going to try to work with the admins in the background here from the duels to the feature here next Friday here for the 250 to try to get some more stuff put together for you fans at home to make this thing a little bit more immersive. They give these drivers a little bit more personality to make these guys more identifiable here outside of just their car and their number, right, and their name, I guess. We want to try to make some a little bit better for you guys to identify here. You see 94 is still out on track. And Jesus. Number 00 Penske machine. Up there in P3 with that 46.201. And I'd really like to see cars together in the back to kind of show you guys, for maybe some fans who are a little bit unaware of how some things work. You see the Huckleberry machine here, the 52. He raced in the Pro Series last season at number 52. Didn't run full time, I believe, there, but you see those Purdue colors, the gold and black, one of the more recognizable color schemes there in college. I would say college football and college sports. Obviously, I'm more of a football guy. I don't know about baseball and everything, but that number 52 rocking the colors here in the duels. On track there, trying to figure out what he can do here. On a lot of cars down on track right now, honestly. Matthew Chastain, top of the board. Comes back on track in this number 75 machine, branded to the 75. I believe Matthew last year was in the 12. But has changed to the 75 tonight for this season here. Came in that patriotic Fast Pro Shop Black Rifle coffee machine. Really nice looking car for Chastain here. And now he's at the top of the board here in practice. He has a sizable gap when it comes to is at least here. Practice, obviously, like I said, practice times I'm not going to worry about because there's probably a lot of team traffic time, right? I wouldn't be worried about Matt going out there, being a dangerous threat here, because obviously this is practice at the end of the day. We have a plethora of cars right now. It looks like we have 40 plus cars out on track right now. 50 cars on track right now. And remember, we talk about this, and we need to talk about for tonight's qualifying. I'm going to talk about here. So when we get into qualifying, your top qualifiers will be locked in 50 next week, next Friday. I believe they still have to run in the duel, but they will be locked in regardless of where they finish in the duel. So the top 2 qualifiers will basically get the front row here starting tonight's duels, and they will be locked in regardless of where they finish. And outside of that, the top 20 finishers, outside of those, you know, the duel winner, the qualifying top 2 get in. So we have 50 drivers coming in these duels, racing for 42 spots. So there will be some heartbreak tonight, you know, for some drivers who might not make it in, and it could be some AWC regulars that we've seen on the channel and a lot of success here on the network, right? You can see someone like Bryson Bird, you know, Wyatt Roberts, past 2 season champions, not making it in to tonight's race and into the big, you know, Daytona event tonight, right? And I'm interested to see if we continue to put these numbers up and up. We might have to have bump day for every race here, and that's going to be something to talk about here in the future, right? Because then, you know, if you have a bad lap, even if you are leading the points, or if you are top 5, top 10 in points, if you have a bad qualifying effort, you get bumped out and you do not get a race tonight. And if this could be the case, you know, you might have to think about maybe a charter system here. You know, lock yourself in every race. And that's something that the ARC admins might have to talk about here in the future if we continue to have bump days, right? But it's going to be interesting. To the back, we hide there. Our first kind of pack forming right there. You see the 38, Matt Steiner, AWC Pro Series drivers. You'll see that AWC Pro Series banner on the 38, and you see Joel Farlow in that 40, in that 24. You know, really 3 AWC guys who have raced here in the past and have a pretty big, at least well-known name here on the network. Forming a pack here, a little 3-car tandem here. This is probably going to be our best opportunity right now to show you guys what's going on here in these cars. On board with the 38 here. Right now, no physical pushing here to the 75 and Matthew Chastain. I'll say this right now, that I feel like these O'Reilly cars are probably the hardest cars to push here, to be aggressive with the pushing, because they are so twitchy, just because the handle is a lot worse than any other car on the service. So you can push in the next turn pretty hard. You can push in the truck pretty hard. But these O'Reilly cars, you can push, right? Especially down the straightaways, but you know, in the next turn in the truck, you can push into the corners and not have an issue outside of the temps. But these O'Reilly cars, you're going to have to be a little bit more careful when you get these shoves, because if you do it in the wrong spot, or if you do it in the wrong place even, you're going to send that car in front of you around, and it's going to be a devastating, you know, probably wreck here for one of the drivers there. You saw right there, a little bit of a bump to the 75, and look how squirrely he got off of the front bumper of the 38. Joel Farlow back there. So I'm going to look at here, you know. Talked about it earlier in the show. Joel Farlow, really good qualifier here at these super speedway tracks there. That new rebranded Arctic Esports Ford Racing Mustang, right? Obviously a new number scheme for all the Arctic guys. Be interesting to see how Joel does here in qualifying. You know, like I said, he's been notorious for having, you know, really good qualifying efforts here at these ways. You see him gonna go back up and maybe try to get the back end of that Huckleberry machine, the 52 that we saw earlier this race. But saw a little bit of pack racing there, just trying to figure out how these cars are going to draft here in these duels, right? Practice is the only time where you're going to get when it comes to figuring out how these cars draft, how these cars are going to, you know, work in the draft, how these cars are going to push in the draft, right? Be very interesting. Yeah, you see Jared Wilson in the 83. The kind of RCR font on this number 83, this, you know, black machine, I believe. It does have a Jared Wilson on the side of there. Pretty cool. A self-sponsored car. I mean, you love to see it. It's better than just having a pure black car. 83 machine out on track here right now, currently setting his first laps here. Practice, I don't know, have a lap time here, number 83, but nice to see him out on track here. Like he's got the slide job colors on here, so obviously really cool to see this because, especially these O'Reilly teams, they just share a lot of the same drivers here. So they need to get out on the tractor. They're trying to make laps here. Luke Allen in the 7. A new driver in the 7 cam. Remember, Chad Thirdquist. He won in the 7 machine. What was it, 2 seasons ago at Indianapolis, I believe it was. Luke Allen at number 7, that unsponsored, that bright blue and yellow orange machine there. Let's see some cars tumble here. We get ready to get practice out of the way here, and it's time for the big show here. It's time for qualifying. Time to see who can get on the front row, lock themselves into the 250 next week here from Daytona. Ready in to go into qualifying. We welcome everybody in here to the high velocity team for the ARC Duels. We appreciate everybody for coming out. We appreciate everybody coming out and showing out. Frank, sorry, we do have someone joining in the booth sooner or later, but got here Matthew will later accompany us up in the booth, driving home from work, I believe. He's doing David McGuire in the booth. Guys there, Leif. Once again, a constant here in the 90 car. Hopped in and said hi. Now Joel Farlow here. 4. I see a little bit of cheese here. You saw that 24 very, very slow. Understanding we've seen this time and time again. Were you trying to save those tire temps here on the sim? Obviously, it's always been really that, right? That you want to, the tire is cool. Because usually, in real life, you want to get those tires heated up. Because the hotter those tires get, the more grip you get in the tire. Here in iRacing, it's always been about tires cold here. Just Barlow across the line. That's something that's going to be a talking point again. He had blinking issues all last season, and I feel like that cost him a shot at being a championship favorite. The blinking and getting caught up in incidences because of his blinking. Joe Farlow added 1 and 2, and we went and looked at the 24 because one of our favorites to potentially sit on the pole tonight. I believe these guys do have 2 laps, so go across the line here. I think he's going for a fast lap off the rip here, so like Joel will go now P12. Like Chris top of the board there in that 10 machine, 48.787. We have quite a few drivers here getting lap times. Go ahead and pull up your fastest lap times here. The right side, on the left side of your screen, Farlow. Now, trying to look for something a little bit better. It looks like definitely in the green here for his lap. But a blink out. See if he'll allow him to take that time as he blinks here down into turn 4. Across the line. Goes P5, so it does let him keep the lap time. 48.715. A good lap for him. To look at the drivers here further in the back here. Joseph Madigan on his first time lap. Noah Brown in the 65. Champion of the series here. Top of the board there. 48.646. Oscar Enriquez back there in the 56. 48.656. Cody McCorkle in the 82. Back there in P3. A little bit of better laps there to lock themselves in right now. The 65 and the 56. Top of the boards here. With Madigan across the board. 46 right now. Now we're going to only kind of focus on your top 10 right now. Dan Cruz up to the top, up to P3. 7 machine, really good lap for him. Also now Ashton Thomas, my apologies, in the 90 machine. Time lap. I don't think he's going to get it in. Qualifying, 17 seconds left in qualifying. It seems to be Noah Brown, Oscar Enriquez going to lock themselves into the 250 next week there, this next Friday. 65, 648, 656. Those two. Noah Brown, your here. Getting ready to start your duels. And the way that duels are going to be set up is all your odd cars will be. Brown obviously takes the pole. Will be in the Oscar even number of cars in qualifying. They will be in second. ATVO can act up proper starting grid. Obviously, I know in the past ATVO has had issues getting everything properly set up here, so we might have to do this by ear. Like 20 cars in duel. Familiar faces in duel, and some new faces in duel 1 as well. Most of our drivers here on track. We'll go ahead and get down the track side one more time. A proper starting lineup. So it's not going to be fast. So we're just going to have to do this by ear. Hopefully we can get together with Angel Schulte to figure out why we can't get that to work. So we'll just do this by ear here. So Noah Brown will be top of the board here in duel number 1 by Dan Cruz in the number 87. Cody McCorkle, new to the new. Obviously, I've raced with Cody quite a bit there. I passed there in that number 80. Alongside Jared Wilson, rounding out row 2. Matthew C. White back there, 5th place alongside Wyatt Roberts. Last season, Joseph Madigan, P7, Nate Caldwell, number P8, Nick Hansen, 9, and Bryson Bird. Another series champion there. That's your top 10. Good. Turcotti, back there in P11 alongside Jimmy Cocker. And number 11 machine. Carlos Acosta in the 03. David Huckleberry rounds out row 7 back there in 14. Train and back there in rounding out your row 8. Ryan Ronnebaum, Diego Acuna back there in 18. Rounding out your top 20. Darren Staff, Fidel Fabian. Back, Big Ryan Jones, Travis Vanders, Dan Warp, Luke Allen, Jacob B. Davis, Aston Thomas, Randall Payne, rounding out your 20-car field tonight here for lap shootout here. Drivers. So 20 laps, top 20 advances. Obviously, 65 is already locked in. So it's going to be technically the top 20 if 65 his way here and get it done here and stay inside that top 20. Look here at your race weather for tonight's duel here. There's 116 track time, 66 degrees humidity with little to no, partly cloudy here from Daytona Beach. 20 laps here for duel number 1. Side by side. Lights off on the pace car. You know what? We have Delta E. We'll put the Delta E sponsorship on the ticker here for duel number 1. Lincoln at Caldwell. But you'll see now lights back on the pace car. Another lap here. See if we can talk to Noah Brown real quick up in the booth. with Toyota Racing, looks like. Hey, Noah Brown, is Christian up here in HV3 booth? You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, obviously, pole sitter for, you know, the Daytona 250 here next Friday. Locking yourself into the race. Really, the duel's not a whole lot to worry about, but, you know, first of all, congratulations, pole for next week. And what's the feeling now, obviously, coming into this first duel?
I mean, honestly, I'm just gonna try to hang out as long as I don't wreck. I mean, I think we're pretty solid. So I think just, you know, if I don't have to win the thing, I won't win the thing. So you might see me fall back, but if I'm here and I'm feeling good, we'll run it.
Yeah, from my recollection, you getting the pole locked yourself into the race, so I think you could really just go to the back if you wanted to. But obviously, a lot of Toyota teammates tonight. Obviously, you're pretty much locked in. Or is it going to be a goal to try to help some of your Toyota guys to get up there inside that top 20?
I'm not gonna play any favorites, so it's just gonna be whoever's in front of me and whoever's behind me. If one of my teammates is up there and they're looking more primed to win the race, I'll definitely try my hardest to give them that win.
It's going to be interesting to see what you and the 65 can do. Getting ready to go green here. Once again, congratulations and good luck here in this Duel 1.
Yes, thank you.
Noah Brown, lead us back right here to start your first duel. Race 1, Season 7 for the ARC iRacing Series. See the pace car. Hard left down pit road. We'll hand the race off to Barney here. Green flag in hand. Back green. We start Duel 1 here from Daytona. Down the backstretch for the first time. Dane Cruz, a lot of help on that top side. But that top side there, that's the 83 of Jared Wilson. Now you see Dane Cruz is going to jump to the bottom. Everybody will follow him to that middle line. It's going to be the 83 of Jared Wilson who gets left out to dry there. That number black machine. That 83 black machine there. But it's going to be Noah Brown leading lap number 1 here. Gets it done here from Daytona. Jumps up to the top here in front of the 87 of Dane Cruz. That's going to allow Cody McCorkle to get down there and be that bottom and that green forward Mustang there. Oh, the 28. Matthew C. White. Matthew, someone to look at here throughout the rest of the season. Showed a lot of pace last season. Season 20, the AWC Pro Series. You know, he was borderline unstoppable in some of these races. And be someone to look at here. Obviously, super speedways is where, you know, everything kind of comes about. But Matthew back there, pushing that inside line there, helping that 82 of Cody McCorkle out there. Now it's dead even, side by side, going through 3 and 4. And now that bottom just a little bit more put together, but the momentum from the top building. Noah Brown, Cody McCorkle across the stripe, give it to Noah Brown. Gonna have to drive the way up through the field here. You know, there's 26 spots to take. 5 drivers will have to go home early tonight here from Daytona. Will not get a race here next week here for the 250. You know, Noah Brown getting out to the front there. You know, he said, you know, if he doesn't have to win it, he's just gonna drop back. But right now you see him, you know, doing a good job, blocking both lines, carrying the momentum. You know, you see the top now. The helm from Dane Cruz. A little bit of a run there. You see 5 jump up there. You see him maybe jump down to the bottom now. Trying to grab Cody McCorkle on the bottom. Doing a really good job at managing these lines there. He knows the bottom will have the advantage in the entry. Get the center off. As long as that top can get formed, you know the top's going to have the advantage down the backstretch. With that huge run off the corner comes Wyatt Roberts in the 42. And that new Firebird machine there. See him third in line there. That bright red Firebird inspired scheme there. Teammates with the 53 of Bryson Burr. See him back there. You're in line, last season's champion. Going to try to make it inside this top 10, maybe a top 5 finisher in duel number 1. And have some guys who are trying to play it a little bit safe here. Back here to 8. Ryan Jones, Nathan Caldwell. Still some linking issues in that. I believe that's an Instagram car there. You saw him, he's down 17 spots more he started. I think he thinks there's going to be a wreck sooner or later. He wants to be in the back here to keep his car clean out of the way here. A little blinking out of the front. With Ryan Jones here. Back in the pack here on this top side, you see the 83. Remember, he got shuffled out there early in the race of Jared Wilson. These guys just okay, riding in the back. They think that something's going to happen here. You know, with 15 to go here in staging in duel number 1. The only issue is that there's not a lot of laps to get up towards the front here. If you do not have friends to help you get up there, it's going to be hard. And at some of your biggest movers as well in the pack here. Everybody just tries to shuffle around right now. Looks like it is the 84. Diego Acuña, there's the wreck in the lead. Dan Cruz around here in the back stretch. Off the track though. I don't think he's going to get a caution for that, and that's going to be huge. If he does not get a caution, that will eliminate the 87 of the cruise missiles, what people call them here in the community. One of your fastest drivers here in these O'Reilly machines. Off the nose here early. That's going to stack everybody back up here. We'll see if we go back. The caution now waves. They're going to call that. No, another. It looks like it looks like they might have called that red for Dane. I can see what happened to Dane here. Already a little bit past when that caution came out here. We'll rewind it here the old style here. We'll turn back the tape. Go up here into our cam. Dane, not a lot of help on the top side. So he gets a little bit of momentum, trying to be, kind of just got that momentum on his own. Tried to jump down in front of the 82 of Cody McCorkle, not clear. Dane. Been through the infield there, through the Le Mans chicane there on the road course. Luckily, no damage to the 87. Caution waves here. 13 to go in stage 1. Everybody will go to a whoa. What Brown? Led every lap of this duel. Talked about if he didn't need to, win the duel, he might go to the back. But showing no signs of that right now. That 65 looking really, really fast. Doing a good job blocking both lanes. Matthew C. White has done a good job keeping himself up inside the top 4. Obviously got through the carnage there. I got something like Cody end up here. He's all the way back here in P21 after the contact with him and Dane Cruz. Obviously nothing that Cody did wrong there. Dane just tried to get down and frankly just wasn't clear. Fortunately grabbed the 82 with him. Damage on that 82 though, so I don't expect to see Cody. Actually, he is going to come down pit road here. I guess it's better to be safe than sorry, right? Guard you towards the back, make sure you don't have any damage. I don't see really a lot of damage at 80. Nice looking car for Cody as well. I really like that. Obviously, I'm a big Harvick fan, and obviously Harvick time to time ran the ring sponsorship, even going back to his RCR days. So seeing a ring car on track, really happy. Gain down pit road here as well. Gonna just probably top off on some. Get some new tires there. Out in the way both those will go. You see Wawa machine. Says he's in the 14, but he's got the 5 car on right now. Did do a couple of refreshes to the paints before he went 5 here. That is the paint he showed up in. He has signed up as the 14. You have the 14. That car obviously has a 5 on, so I don't know if it'll be penalty for well, obviously a lot of these drivers' first races here in AWC. Yeah, wow, I'm in the ARC Pro Series here with this kind of group of guys. Yeah, I'm gonna slip up a couple times here, continuing to call it the AWC Pro Series, but no, the ARC iRacing Series. Light should go off on the pace car this time by at the cutoff right now. Going on back here. So right now, Ashton Thomas in the 90, 21st. So it's going to be Darren Staff, Jacob B. Davis, Cody McCoy, Dan Cruz, Payne. Outside looking. I think, honestly, if I think Dane and Cody can up together, I think they might be able to make it. Darren Staff, he's had a lot of success, I believe, in the draft here. Here on the network, WC side of things. There, sitting right now, P22 only, one spot out or be there. So yeah, 3 wide television machine. Some more of those 3 wide TV cars in Duel 2 with Jake Scarborough and JSR, but lights off on the pace car, everybody getting side by side, 2 by 2, and something we haven't talked about all race long. Bryson Bird, he's up to P4. Him alongside his Firebird Motorsports teammate. Here we go. Lights off on the pace car. 65, Noah Brown. 28, Matthew White. Back to the green. A 10-lap shootout here. That's rule number 1. Already jumping down in front of the 28 there. Running the momentum from the bottom. He rolled at 42. Try to give room for the 53 to jump in. I think he's trying to. I think White's trying to usher the 53 of Bryson Bird in the line there. I think he's trying to give room. But Bryson Bird wants to go up there. He wants to try to win this duel here. He's going to get help from the 60, from the, that's the 66 of Joseph Madigan. It is. Look at Bryson Bird. Join on the top side. Going to try to get clear here through 3 and 4. I think he will get clear. 3 and 4. Bryson Bird at the top of the board. Bryson going to get clear. He's going to get that top line where the 66 of Madigan is also clear. Now where does Bryson Bird go? Does he drop down in front of his teammate on the bottom? And the team to put this thing up to the top of the boards there. Here comes the 11 machine. Jimmy Cocker in the 11. Joseph, though, trying to back up Renault, looks like. Let that 53 get out. Way out in front. Going to reel him back in. Go and do more. Back, Cody McCorkle, P20, worked his way back up in at least a fighting spot there. But Aim Cruz back here still in 24th. After need a little bit of help to get him inside that top 21 and lock himself in. Here comes the bottom here. Joseph Madigan up to the bottom. He's going to get help from another Toyota teammate there. Noah Brown trying to get that bottom move in the bottom with a lot of surge of energy here at the top. Really well put together here out of turn 2. 53. And the lunge back out in front. Going to get clear of the bottom if he wants it. Bryson Bird. Like he wanted to go to the bottom. Not going to be able to get clear enough. Here comes Joseph Madigan on the bottom side, helping that Toyota teammate. Eight to go, going to 7 to go. Battle for the state for this dual one. Clearly not over here. Bryson Bird not clear of both lanes. Now what does he do? Will he do the same thing at the 65 there? Try to block all lanes that he could? No, he's still going to be really consistent. I'm wanting to stay up there on that top. You see the 81 back there. That's Nick Hansen. He's worked his way up inside this top 5. Nick up 4 spots where he started. But by far your biggest mover right now in the top 5 is Jimmy Cochran at 11 and that Virginia Tech machine. Pushing that top lane out. Biggest mover in the race right now. Del Fabian and the 40 machine up 11 spots. Up inside the top 10. That top side, so a lot of momentum. A little bit well put together. Back here for this transfer spot back here. And back here further in the back. Right now, they're in the 2 and the 20. It's to be between the 4 and the 20 right now. Nolan Crane on the outside looking in. Going to look to the outside of the 4. Jacob B. Davis. This is the battle for the transfer back here. Someone has started to spoil the party. It's the 84 of Acuna. He's worked his way through the pack here with 5 to go. He's up inside the top 4 now. He's up 14 spots. He's brought Fidel Fabian with him as well. Those are both up 14, now 15 spots. Here comes, the 84. He's going to look to the top side of the 11 now. Wants the stage win. Like Diego, he's up there in that Toyota camp as well. Obviously, he is racing in Toyota, so the Toyota is looking really well. Getting up towards the top 3 now. With that 40 and Fidel Fabian. Remember Fidel in the 51. He jumps to the 40 this season. With 4 to go, that 84 is in a really good spot. He'll get to go get a dual win. At least to lock himself into the race. I know that Andres or Diego not going to run full time as they're 3 wide further back there. The 66 and Madigan. Jumping to the bottom there. They're 3 by 3. Anthon back there. Besson is starting to pick up here. People want to make up the spots. People want to try to get up to the front. Dane Cruz has put himself up inside the top 10 once again. For this 3 by 3 really back here. Jared Wilson on the top. Oh man, there they go, wreck heap. There's 3 to go. It's gonna be a big wreck here. Cody McCorkle, you see the 52. Huckleberry involved. Cody McCorkle involved in another one. I think I saw Dane Cruz involved in this one as well. Yeah, Dane Cruz smoking, blowing up here out of turn 2. Caution on late here. We'll get a overtime here in duel 1. I'm not sure of where that started. I think Madigan got a good. See if we can figure out what happened here. Right in front of him, yeah. So it looks like the 65 and the 81. It looks like between contact here with Nick Hansen and the 65 and Noah Brown, and just calamity here. Noah Brown up the track and oh man, that was the 6, I believe. Be the 8. Ryan Jones just overshot, you know, what he thought he could do here. These were guys just riding in the back. Just cannot get slowed up for the wreck there. I think he might have got a little bit of help. This was a huge wreck involving a lot of drivers here. Caution will wave here. Almost getting the 2 to go there, but wow. Opportunity. Go ahead and talk to Bird. Bryson, you're an HV. Got a copy?
Yeah, I got a copy.
Well, leading still one here. Be getting some overtime here, but obviously worked your way up there, got to the top side, took the race lead away. But looking at it right now, getting swung by a bunch of Toyotas here in these last couple laps. Do you think you have what it takes to get this Duel 1 win under your belt?
I think so. I got a couple buddies behind me back there. I trust Diego, so that's probably who I'm going to go with here. But yeah, I think I can get it done. We'll see.
Obviously, we look at, you know, it seemed like everybody was pretty cordial through the front, and they're, you know, coming with, you know, a couple laps to go there. Later in this Duel 1, we saw, you know, the big win happen there in your rearview mirror. Obviously, we know that it's going to happen. It was a matter of when, but, you know, you getting up to the front, do you think that was, were you planning on trying to get to the front to try to avoid potentially the big one, or was it just a plan just to get up here, try to lead this pack?
Yeah, that was mainly my plan. I on the super speedways, I always like to be, you know, more towards like the front 2 rows because they always wreck in the back. So, yeah, that was the main thing. Just try to get up front as quickly as possible and take the lead.
Obviously, talk to us about, you know, you and Wyatt forming a new team. Obviously, still affiliated with CU Motorsports. So walk us through, you know, this new Firebird Motorsports here with you and 42.
Yeah, it was just a little fun idea we had. We thought we could throw together some Trans Am schemes and, I don't know, just do something a little different, just have a little fun with it. We're enjoying it so far. It's pretty fun.
Definitely a blast to see, you know, those new cars on track. Definitely one of the nicer looking cars on track here, but getting ready to get the 1 to go here, Bryson. Lean this back to green here. We'll drop you back there with your teammates, ready to go and get ready for this overtime finish here in Duel 1.
All right, thank you.
Bryson Bird. Back to green. Bryson Bird at the top side here. Remember, leader gets lane choice here, AWC Pro Series. So there you go. It's the bottom here. Bring Fidel Baby on with him. Thorpe. Thorpe. That's gonna be a mouthful. You'll line up behind this the 53 of Bird. So what I hear is, you know, Bryson said he's really comfortable with the 84 of Diego here, taking him out. So I believe he might just try to jump it a little bit, try to get down in front of that bottom side and see if Diego can push him to the duel win. I think Diego wants to win this duel though, so I'm pretty good friends with him, and he was really excited about the duel. The HVT on the side of his car. Proud partner here of High Velocity Team. Obviously owner of Delta Designs here. Big partner here. Been in that one. We'll see him on the bottom side. Preston Bird on the top. He'll lead us to green there. 40 and 60. Fast 4 here. get ready to go. Some NASCAR overtime here. The duel number 1. The Bryson Bird. Leading this back to green here. Back into the restart zone. Back green here from duel 1. Bryson looks like he's clear on the bottom if he wants to dump down. Stick to the top here. Talked about being comfortable with 84 to 16. A huge job from the 7. Going to get himself back up in front to the 53 machine. By the looks of it, top 20 is set. Everybody who's still on the track will be locked in the pool here. Everybody else 21st on back. Hops down out of the race here. So I think technically Nathan Caldwell in the 21, even though he's off the track there, he's set in the 21st spot here. He'll be the first driver locked in. Everybody else further out back. But once they miss Bryson Bird, it's the white flag here. Duel number 1. Here comes the 16. He's going to look at the top side. Bryson jumps down in front of the 84 Diego. Diego is going to have to shove out this 53 as hard as he can if he wants to try to get himself clear. It's, oh, a big shove to the back of the 53, Diego, to try to get back in line here. 16 of Van Ness. And another shove to the back of the 16. Diego really upset here. They're going to be side by side for P2. The 16 and Travis out of turn 3 and 4. Does anybody have a run for the 16? I don't think he will. It's going to be Van Oostendorp going to take stage duel number 1. Like that. We'll go ahead and get in the duel too. Still not gonna be right here. Once again. Counting it down fashion way here. So obviously we saw Oscar Enriquez. He got the P2. He locks himself in the 250 next Friday here. The front row starting position at BRN number 56. Alongside of him, Enrique Cucalone, AWC regular here, coming back here for the ARC Pro Series. He'll be P2. Joseph Smith in the 31. Back there in P3 alongside Michael Earl in the number 2 machine. Cody. Oh. Lecker, hopefully I'm saying that right, Brody. In the 40, he'll be back there, P6. Olivia Hammond, Robbie Throop, back there in PA, rounding out your top 10. Joel Farlow, Shane O'Neill at number 9. You're outside the top 10. Matt Steiner, Jake Scarborough, rounding out row 6, back there in 12th place. 13th goes to Jackson W. Jones alongside Micah Walls in the top 15. AJ Nickel, Tyler Watermelon, back there running out row 8. Justin Terrell, Dawson Allen back there, 17, 18. Tynan Jones and Francis Hamilton, top 20. Lights, Matt Chastain, Rockamore, Robert and Paul. Rounding out the field here, duel number 1. Okay, here's where I don't think there'd be a lot of change. Actually got a little bit cooler. First run.
Yeah, good to be back here, Christian. Thanks for the intro here. Good to be back at Daytona. I mean, these duels, man, these are always something else. Love seeing these guys get back on the track here in the ARC series. Got a lot to look forward to. And we got the O'Reilly cars out here on track as we see the 54 machine dipping low line below the apron. We have a caution on the speedway. Ooh, a little 3 wide. Wow. Oh. Yeah, and the 4 wide is possible, in terms of the spacing on the banking, but it is so tight on that corner exit, and people really underestimate just how out of shape these cars can get. As you see, there was a little bit of a nudge going into the corner there, trying to go 3 wide and then 4 wide, and I mean, it's so difficult when you're just trying to hold a line and you're not trying to, wash up in anybody else on your outside or turn down on someone in your inside. So. Yeah, definitely very difficult to be able to go 4 wide for a while there. But that actually started, yeah, all the way back in turns 3 and 4 and ended up cascading all the way to the tri-oval. And we saw that big hit by the 3, obviously losing control of the race car. But right now, the 56 machine out in front and going under pacing here. This will be a quick yellow, but Oscar Enriquez with Enrique Cucalone, obviously longtime broadcast participant in our other leagues that we've had him in, so good to see him out here. Hello. Yeah, and these restarts are going to be really important here because depending on if you're able to get clear of a certain lane, you can really dictate the momentum here. And obviously pretty early on in the race, obviously, but it'll be good to have that confidence, right? Being able to make the moves, find who you work well with, and really just feel out the momentum of the car as we get under some green flag runs here up to speed. And Christian, talk a little bit about how long it takes for these cars to get fully up to speed at the Daytona International Speedway.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to take a lap or two to get up to speed, especially with these O'Reilly cars. So it's you know, it's going to take, you know, going through the gears. I would say it's going to take a lap and a half to get full saw here and start to see these runs get built and everything else. So it's you know, it's going to be about, you know, how these lines, you know, line up here and can get foamed up and get the momentum building.
Yeah, and I mean, with these cars, you know, the pushing is pretty uniform across manufacturer. Front noses are, for the most part, pretty much identical, so these guys should have a pretty good time being able to push and shove here with these cars. But I'm thinking that, yeah, with 15 to go and eventually up to speed, gonna be 14 to go, I'm thinking that a lot of the guys further towards the back who haven't really had a chance to get under green flag racing here, I think they're going to be wanting to move up towards the front, and we already saw that with the 3 and 4 wide. But back under green here at Daytona, the jump on the bottom for Oscar Enriquez.
And he's going to get help from the 22 of Enrique, his teammate there. Going to jump him out, obviously a Ford and a Chevy, but still teammates in their own right. Get that bottom line, launch away there. The 56 of the 22 away. Can't get too far away though. That top side building momentum, the 31 of Joseph Smith alongside Michael Earl. Going to try to run them back down, but it looks like they're staying to the bottom right now. Going to try to, you know, give that draft back to the 10. It looks like Tristan Strump, Brody Flecker back there in that 44 trying to make their way up to the front there. But that top with a huge run, and here comes the 31 of Joseph Smith.
Yeah, and a massive run you saw him got hooked up there on the top with that 2 machine pushing the 31 car, Joseph Smith. Definitely going to have a run off the top here as well. But you see that bottom is actually pretty organized. They got some nice pushes right there from Oscar, and I think that's the Monster Energy car right behind him. So you see 54 car is going to drop down in the bottom lane. He'll try to carry his momentum. Meanwhile, the purple car in the top lane, 24 machine, he will slot into third on the top line.
And here comes Olivia Hammond in a 54. Remember, she almost won last season's. Oh, Zarecki trying the wreck in the back. That's the 91. Shane O'Neill. Caution will wave. And around he'll go off the bumper of the 9 machine of Michael Walls.
Yeah, just a long slide there for the 91 car. And yeah, just like you were mentioning, Christian, Olivia almost getting it done there. But yeah, right now, I'm just thinking there's a lot of aggression trying to get up towards the front. And as these laps continue to tick away under caution, it's just not going to go well. You see the 9 car, that Lowe's machine, just on the outside of the 91. I don't think the 91...
See the 91 go around there off the bumper. And caution will wave here in Duel 2, 13 to go. Our second caution of the race. And obviously we talked about the passive aggressiveness, you know, in that first race. Obviously we had that big one at the end there, but and obviously I guess you could technically call the wreck with Dana in the 20 and the 82 of McCorkle, you know, technically a wreck in its own right. But outside of that, they went green flag until the end, until, you know, they had to start the push 3-4 wide. But tonight, you're in the second duel, chaos, right? 20 lap shootout, and we've lost Discord one more time. And now with 13 to go, we've already had our second caution of the race.
Yeah, these cautions are just going to keep piling up. And I mean, like I said already, you know, I'm thinking that these guys are just going to have a very difficult time carving their way through the field if they keep, you know, running more laps under caution. It's just going to give the opportunities to the guys further up to get an opportunity here. But yeah, the more the laps tick away, then the less time cars are going to have to make up that real estate. So for the time being, that 31 car in that rush hour Ford Mustang Dark Horse currently at the point in the front of the field.
And then Michael Earl, he's been up towards the front, but obviously you see that unsponsored number 2 machine. He's showing some speed, right? I mean, obviously, I believe he ran a couple of races last year when it was still the AWC Pro Series, and I wouldn't say it was the flashiest driver, obviously, but showing some pace here. Getting up towards the front, he'll be on that front row, and then you'll see further back Joel Farlow. We talked about him. He was a big talking point about potentially getting the pole here. Unfortunately, did not get it done. That 24 machine, he's up inside the podium, and obviously Olivia Hammond, we talked about her earlier before that wreck came out.
Yeah, and Olivia obviously just a really well-rounded racer overall, and we know so many of these people in the field have just put in a lot of work off camera, off broadcast, and Olivia definitely one of those drivers here. Always shows up with a lot of speed and that iconic Monster Energy paint scheme here at the Duel. Definitely in a really good position to maybe snag another win here. What do you think, Christian?
Yeah, I mean, she's put herself in a good spot once again here, sent back there P4. Obviously, 12 laps to go, still a lot of ways to go. A lot can happen here in 12 laps, so it's going to be interesting to see, if she can keep that 54 up front there. And something I've been really looking out for is just how these new combined leagues are racing with each other. Obviously, we know how the AWC Pro Series drivers are going to race, but obviously the ARC guys, have joined the fold and, combined into the ARC Pro Series, right? And it's been interesting to see, some of these newer guys who haven't raced with AWC guys try to mix in and try to, find their own way here in these first couple of races here that we've seen here in Season 7.
Yeah, and like you mentioned, Christian, just the blend of the different drivers, right? A lot of different guys from different backgrounds of sim racing and people who are very familiar with people in the field, and some people that maybe not so much, right? Familiar faces, some new faces, but nonetheless a bigger racing family here for the network, and definitely glad to have everyone tuning in here on our streaming platforms as well as in this iRacing session. So very cool to see everyone out here on track, as well as the paint schemes. I always like to bring it up. I see that 67 Outback car definitely catching my eye. I mean, everyone just has a really good time whenever they show up here at Daytona, and I mean this venue is just one of those places that you get a feel-good feeling from just being here, and especially up in the booth. But I can only imagine these drivers are approaching 10 to go. It's crunch time, Christian. These guys are really going to be working on it with lap times here. If they go green, they'll be done in just under 10 minutes. So it'll be really interesting to see whether or not guys who are able to work together with one another are going to be able to pull it off, because you may not know who you're working with right now, right? So really going to be pulling for obviously a lot of our familiar faces here, but also some of the new guys.
It's going to be interesting to see, who can find their way up to the front here, because it's definitely not over for some of these guys here towards the back. And something to talk about, right? Obviously, we're taking 42 cars to next week into Daytona. So 22nd on back goes home. So that right now consists of Michael Walls, Matthew Chastain, Francis Hamilton, Dawson Allen in the 79. Those guys are going to have to try to find some type of track position to lock themselves into next week's race here for the 250. Obviously, if people drop out, those guys will fill in the void. But right now, it's going to be interesting to see as the forward front row brings us back into the race car zone to 31. Joseph Smith back to the point, back to green.
Well, when you see the stack up on the top, Olivia not getting through the gears is nice. You maybe spun the tires a little bit. That's going to give the advantage to the 31 on the bottom. Big push from the Outback 67 car. They're going to have a big head of steam, but he'll jump to the top side. That's the Outback 67 car with the 2. And they are both going to be bump drafting a little bit here off the banking.
And that's Bobby Throop in the 67. Technically the 88 in the league, but right now, shows right now the 67 car. We saw him work with Michael Earl there in that number 2 machine to get him out in front, but Joseph Smith, from the bottom, he gets going, and look at these two locked up, almost kind of tandeming away from the rest of the field here. Got to worry about not getting too far out in front here. Here comes a run from the top side, those two CU Motorsports machines of Cucalone and Enriquez.
Yeah, and I really like that, though, Christian, them being able to get shoved out front and just see what is the delay from getting side by side here and maybe eventually pass with this top line here. 31 car will jump to the top and block the run from the 22. But yeah, I like that experimentation from a lot of these guys in the front right now.
See the two of Michael Earl trying to side draft that 56, try to keep that top side. you know, at Prevail here, because if you can get that top side going and you get 3 or 4 or 5, 6 guys who can just line up and go, it's going to be hard to beat this top side here with how the momentum works here at Daytona. You see right now, the top side working. Michael Earl went from the lead all the way back here, battling for the top 5 there with the 67 machine through.
Yeah, and you see the 2 car who was second in line on the top, now on the bottom, and leading that line. So right now, you got a multitude of cars who are pretty much in contention here for a good finish. If we say green, we see a little bit of 4 wide almost back there.
See further back there. And I see further back there, Jake Scarborough outside the top 10 right there. And that number 77, Aaron's Dream Machine, back there trying to make something happen. And, you know, going back to Michael Earl, he's kind of in a tough spot here because he's the only driver who I've seen go up there and try to side draft. He gets a huge run from the bottom, though. He's going to get side by side here through 3 and 4. But, you know, he was trying to side draft and trying to make something work here. But, you know, no one else was going with him. And then, you know, that puts him in the spot to where, like, he kind of has to just run the bottom. I think side drafting that top side was a really good move. But when you try to go up there and side draft, you put yourself in a bad spot to, you know, get taken 3 wide and put yourself in a sucker hole. But right now, that 2 moving, help from the 10, help from the 24, Joel Farlow.
Yeah, that 10 car, Tristan Stump, definitely caught my eye. He has a lot of speed. I wouldn't be so surprised if he jumps in front of that 31 car. We know that 31 is hungry with Enrique Cucalon right behind him. Enrique looking to go back to victory lane after a long season of runner-up finishes and a win in Nashville. Obviously, Enrique looking to make it back to victory lane maybe here at Daytona.
Enrique, remember, you know, was on such a losing streak until he got that win from Nashville, right? And you know, he's been so close here at the World Center of Racing, but just has not been able to get it put together here. Has been leading on the white flag a couple times here in the past here with the AWC Pro Series guys, and either got dumped for it or just something happened there, you know, coming out of 4 there to lose him the race here. But, you know, now the bottom is really started to take advantage here. You see now the 2 drivers out on front there exclusively on the bottom. Here comes Joel Farlow on the top side, going to try to lead that kind of middle top lane. Is there 3? Almost 4 wide there.
Keep it together. Oh, my. Oh.
As they go wrecking in the back. And there they go, wrecking
Huge
around.
wreck. That was a big hit for a few of these guys here. 67 Outback car all the way up in the outside retaining wall.
Michael Deitch
Very
with the huge
unfortunate.
hit. Caution wave here. And we just saw it, we talked about already, you can't really afford to go 3, even 4 wide here quite yet. And they wanted to try it. That was, you know, right there, the 31. Contact with the 22, and then they were just trying to get it going there. You see the Michael Deitch huge hit to the outside wall there, help from the 57. And, yeah, just nowhere for a lot of these guys in the back to go there. Michael Deitch, it seemed like he put himself in a good spot and still ended up getting caught up head first in the outside wall.
Yeah, and what led to all that, if we back it up to the exit of turn 2, was I think the 22 machine got a huge run and decided to peek out. You see right there in the top lane, Cucalone just pinching that 31 car. 31 felt like he didn't have too much real estate to work with. Also, maybe a little bit of a shove from the 67 got him out of shape. He's just really aggressive with the side draft. And yeah, just a little bit of ping pong.
Luckily, Enrique gets through, but back here, this is where the calamity is. 54, the 67 involved here. 31 going around with the 38 of Matt Steiner. 31 saves it, though. And so does Matt. Really good saves by some of these guys, but for a couple of these other guys, not as lucky. And to get some damage you're going to have to fix here. And unfortunately for them, you look at Michael Deitch, only 5 laps to go here. We'll be going back to green here, potentially with the natural green white checkered. These guys are outside that, you know, 21st, you know, lock-in spot here. They're gonna have to get this fixed and try to make up those couple of spots there to lock themselves into the race here next week.
Yeah, and just like I was mentioning earlier, you know, these laps are gonna click by, and what do you know, these guys that were battling for position here in the front, maintaining track position, and for the most part, gonna be in contention for this win here. I like the number 2 car right now, but that 10 car had a really big head of steam for a few runs off the corner on exit. And so I'm thinking that between these top 2, 84 car also in the mix, as well as We have a variety of contenders right now, but yeah, you see Tristan Stump had a low of 9th, so he was able to carve his way through that top 10, make it through the front. And I'm thinking that he's definitely a favorite right now. It'd be really cool to see him make it to victory lane from that 9th starting position. Or rather, the 5th starting position, a low of 9th. And so, definitely a storyline to keep an eye on.
Yeah, we look at some of your biggest favorites tonight. Look at this. Robert Izzo started 24th. He's up inside the top 6 here in this Thomas Motorsports, ThomasCars.com machine. Really good recovery there. You see a little bit of a ding on the right side there, right on the door, but I don't think that's going to be enough to affect the handling of this car. Really good opportunity for this 46 to get up there, get a good top 5 finish here in this 46.
Yeah, and I mean, I love that. I love that remake of the HendrickCars.com scheme. Very iconic in the Cup Series and lower divisions as well. But you also see the shark teeth on the front grille. Really cool scheme design here. But for Robert Izzo, I mean, yeah, how cool would it be for him to go to victory lane starting way back in the field? Then you see the likes of Enrique Cucolone right behind him, then Joe Farlow right in front of him. I mean, we've got a few contenders here. And look at the 9. The 9 was involved in that wreck with the 91, I believe it was, earlier. And he's definitely in a good spot here as well. Michael Walls. I mean, you know, we could have the top several wreck here in a similar fashion that we had on the backstretch with that 3 wide. They got a lot of these guys, and someone could sweep in and steal the victory.
And Mike is one very talented driver. I would say he's probably a top 5 car everywhere we go if he wants to run full time. He knows how to get it done in any car we put him in. So I'm really excited to see. You know, obviously Micah got caught up in that wreck with the 91. We talked about it. Got the car fixed. Up inside this top 8 now. He'll be starting on the top, so he can build the momentum up there. He's going to have help from the 72 back there in Throckmorton in the 72. He can get it done here. I mean, I think 8th place with a green-white checkered, he could definitely get up there and try to make something happen.
Yeah, 8th place, man. That's definitely a pretty good spot for the restart here. We know he has a lot of speed. Just got to make sure that he keeps it up the wall. Hopefully not too much damage moving forward. As we look towards the front of the field here. The 10 and the 2 going to be side by side on this restart. That 47 machine hasn't seen a lot of time up here towards the front of the pack. Be interesting to see if they can figure it out. Make their way towards the front. Maybe lead some laps and maybe be in contention for this win. That's going to be really cool to see. For the time being, going to be, I think, a drag race between the 10 and the 2. Going to be a matter of who gets the better push here. And so as we're going up through the gears on a restart, Christian, you know, obviously, you know, our checklist is going to be not spinning the tires, right? Making sure that you're getting the timing right for the pushes. But is there anything else that goes through your head here with a natural green-white checker coming up?
Yeah, I would just say make sure that you put yourself in a good spot, right? Don't be too aggressive and then get yourself in a spot to get taken 3 wide and get put in the sucker hole here with 3 to go. Because if you get dropped back here, you know, when we go to 2, 1 to go, and you're outside the top, I would say 8, you're really in a bad spot there. And obviously, at the end of the day, all these guys are just looking to get into the race. So honestly, I mean, everybody wants to win, but I would say just racing cordially to make sure that you can take care of each other to get to the big feature here. Next Friday is the goal here, but it's going to be interesting to see how they work out. But it'll be a Ford Chevy front row. Michael Earl back to the stripe here. Natural green-white checkered here for Duel 2.
On green, we see a really good push on the bottom there. A little bit of separation, though, from the 2 and the 94. That's going to allow the top lane to maybe carry some momentum here. No, the 47 is going to drop back. It's going to be really interesting to just see who decides to go where. That 84 car is going to be clear of the 10. We'll see what happens on corner exit here.
At the bottom with a really good shove here out of turn 1 and 2 here as they get up through the gears, and that top side completely abandoned. You know, it's 4 cars solo on the top side trying to make something work here out of 1 and 2 going into 3 and 4. Gonna need a little bit more help to make something work there. See the top 3 on the bottom not clear of the top side. You see some more drivers now going up to the top. They're gonna try to make something work there. Oscar Enriquez back there trying to make that top side work.
Wow, 3 wide here with 2 to go. Further back in the pack. Still single file up towards the front. The 2 leading here now. Will Farlow, how would he like to go to victory lane here third in line on the bottom. But you see Enrico Cucalone struggling to keep that momentum there. Maybe a bad push on the top lane. He's going to fade way back.
Now Farlow, if he backs up a run here, he might be able to get linked up with Michael Walls. Wrecking in the back. We're on the last lap. It's not going to matter. Here comes the 9 of Michael Walls. He's going to try to jump to the top side. I don't think that's what he wants to do there. I would have got linked up with the 24 to try to make it a battle for the win here, because now it's going to be between really this 94 and this 2. Does the 94 jump out? Does Jackson Jones try to do anything else underneath the line? I don't know how they're going to like that, but it doesn't matter. Michael Earl gets duel number 2.
Man, what a finish, and they wreck behind him. And wow, what a move there to jump to the outside lane and carry that momentum through the trial. But just a great finish here at Daytona.
Yeah, what a finish there. And like I said, I think Micah could have done a little bit something better there. If he would have got linked up with the 24, I think they could have had a run to jump to the outside of both those cars and try to race it out for the win there. But unfortunately, no. Michael Earl gets it here for stage number 2. For duel number 2, my apologies. Just like that. We have our grid set here, so obviously it's going to be hard to tell because obviously ATVO can't really do a good job at telling us where everybody finished here in these last duels. But it's going to be interesting to see, who is eliminated. Obviously, we had a couple of drivers, and I looking back, further back, I think there were some big names who aren't going to make it into next week's race here. I think Dane Cruz, one of our fastest drivers here in an O'Reilly car, got caught up in a wreck early in Duel 1. You look at Cody McCorkle, someone who I've raced with a lot. I believe he's not going to make it to the end of into the race next week here after also getting caught up with the number 87 of Dan Cruz there. So it's going to be interesting to see how that happens. But fortunately, I mean, we can see if we can look at our unofficial race results here for Duel 2. I don't know how it's going to show here. So Duel results here. So this... So these would be how they line up here for the race in a way. So, yeah, we're not going to be able to get the unofficial race results here. We do know that Travis Van Ester's Stoop did get Duel 1. We'll see if we could talk to Travis here as he won Duel 1 here, and congratulate him on getting that Duel 1. Hey, Travis, it's Christian and Matthew up here in the HVTV booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, hi.
Well, first of all, congratulations. A very, very exciting finish there. The duel number 1. Didn't get the time to talk to you there after the duel as we had to jump right into duel 2. But obviously, you and that 16 machine make some aggressive moves, jumping to the top, jumping to the bottom. And obviously, we saw the 84, giving some suspicious-looking pushes, which allowed you to kind of stay out in front there to win your first duel here at Daytona. Walk us through that duel. Walk us through what got you up to that front.
Yeah, I wake up in the morning and I piss excellence. I just drove from dead last in the field all the way through the front. Nothing crazy, just normal every day. What day is it? Friday. Yeah, just followed my way through. Followed Fidel's terrible looking car. Drove behind him the entire time. Got to the outside of Bryson on the last lap, and then he somehow got back in front of my front bumper, and then they all just tried wrecking about 7 times, and they just side drafted each other while I pulled away at the end.
Yeah, obviously, we saw them trying to, and it's funny because we criticized, this in O'Reilly series as well with the Austin Hill effect, where they kind of race each other and just allow him to get out in front and take the win away. It looks like you did a good job at impersonating that 21 machine there in real life, and obviously looking forward into the race next week, locking yourself in, obviously winning the duel. You'll be starting inside row on that row 2. Is there kind of a game plan for next week as we get into the 250?
Well, first, I would never impersonate Austin Hill, as I am not as large as that man is. But the game plan is to lead every lap, every single lap. Don't let anybody else lead another lap. That's the goal. My good friends Michael Walls will be in that race. I don't think any other friend of mine made the race besides Fidel. He's cool too. But yeah, that's about it. It's just me and Micah just gonna drive through the field, I guess, and lead every single lap.
Well, we appreciate your time here for coming up in the booth and talking to us. Once again, congratulations on the Duel 1 win. But before we let you go, Travis, anybody you want to thank? Appreciate shout out for the season for this Duel 1.
Yeah, let me go name here. I want to thank Jake Gumar for making the greatest sim series in history. Gabe Cazola, the silenced. We all love Gabe Cazola. Need him on band stat. Let's get that rolling, AJ and Jake, please. Ryan Bogey, wonderful man. Fidel Fabian, wonderful guy. Jared Wilson, I don't even know. Oh, he made the race too. He's my friend. Yeah, forgot about him. He's kind of high right now, but we'll ignore that. Robbie Throop, he should have made the race. Got screwed by Michael Walls' buffoonic antics. But yeah, that's all I got.
Well, we appreciate your time up here in the booth. We wish you good luck next week in the big boy race. And once again, another congratulations on Duel 1 number 1.
Yeah, thanks. You better be wishing the field luck because it's going to be a show.
Well, we appreciate your time, and hopefully we'll talk to you some more later in the season.
Oh, you will.
A very confident Travis there, and obviously, it's funny to see that. I like to see that. That confidence in the drivers here, Matthew, talking to your Duel 1 winner.
Yeah, and I mean the confidence is huge, right? Because there's a lot of time from now until the next race, and so we got to be mindful of the fact that these guys are going to be putting in a lot of work off camera, and so to be able to have that confidence, the Duel win is just going to be pretty massive, honestly, in terms of long-term success. And I really like the mentality of trying to do the most with your starting position, right, and just lead all the laps possible. And so yeah, I definitely like that that mentality, and I think that momentum will definitely carry them very far at the next race we have here at Daytona.
Yeah, and we'll see if we can drag up Michael Earl, your Duel 2 winner. See if Matthew can give him a shout here up here in HVTV booth.
Hey, Michael Earl, it's Christian and Matthew up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Well, man, first of all, congrats. Tell us a little bit about your race start to finish. Saw you were buried a little further back in the pack at one point, made your way up towards the front, had some caution laps, had some time to regroup. How was your race here at Daytona?
It was pretty good. It was a little on the stressful side. Big pack, handling, obviously being part of the race. Just trying to work with my teammate Justin Terrell, but he had a harder time near in the back of the field. But so I didn't really let that bother me. Just worried about getting to the front, staying up front, working with the guys that were up there, and just setting myself up for a good result.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely had a lot of learning experiences here, getting back on track with, some familiar faces and also some new faces after the leagues had emerged. But yeah, talk to us a little bit about the mentality on that last restart. Did you feel like you had all the resources around you to work with, or did you feel like you might have had to, get the elbows out a little bit coming to the white?
I definitely felt like I had to get the elbows out because the people that were behind me, I'm not super familiar with. I didn't know if they were going to get that outside lane going, which they didn't. I didn't know if they're going to go single file, and they thankfully did. So I was able to protect and capitalize on that. But yeah, not a whole lot of friends out there.
Looking forward to the big race. Obviously, this is a really good way to continue your momentum moving forward. But what's the mentality going to be if you can share just what your goals or your plans will be for dictating the race from your starting position come next week?
Okay. Well, I'm going to try and take a decent approach because this is my first league I've ever done on iRacing. So I'm going to try and have a calm approach, calm demeanor, just try and set myself up for good results and not put myself in bad positions. I want to be in good spots, stay on my fuel game, strategy, all that, and stay with my teammates, Justin Terrell.
Well, we really appreciate you coming up and talking with us. Before we let you go, anybody you want to shout out for this victory here at Daytona?
Sorry, what was that again?
I just wanted to ask if you had anybody you'd like to shout out for this victory here at Daytona.
Oh, I would like to shout out Justin Terrell, my teammate, the number 12, Menards Tarquette Ford Mustang. I'd like to shout out my paint designer, Landon Levi, and the whole MMS Racing group for bringing this fast hot rod here to Daytona.
Well, we wish you luck next week, man. Thanks for your time.
Yeah, thank you.
Very optimistic Michael Earl there. Obviously, seems like a well-mannered kid, just trying to find his footing here, and it's really cool to see that his first ever league comes here with the ARC Pro Series. So it's gonna be interesting to see, how he can get together. Obviously, got a couple of teammates that he can work with, and obviously, gonna be interesting to see, how he, you know, finds his footing here in this, kind of different style, league style racing. Obviously, it's anybody can sign up to the sim and do officials and go in races here, but league racing I feel like always has that little bit more prestige.
Yeah, and I mean, I feel like with the prestige of going into next weekend, right? This is going to be a really sought after event to not only do well, but to try and win. And so the power that these dual wins have behind them is really one that we shouldn't underestimate, right? And for these two drivers that we just talked to, I mean, it really does carry you not only throughout the week, but it carries you through race day. It really just allows you to, get the nerves out and prepare in a fashion that's a lot better than a lot of these other guys who are on the outside looking in, so to speak, who are buried further back in the pack. And, when that big one comes, you want to be further up in the front. So definitely a good mentality to have for these two that we just talked to.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see. Um, obviously we'll have some drivers who are gonna start towards the front just because they finished towards the front. And obviously, some drivers who had to just kind of limp it back due to getting in there, and they're gonna make it into the race. And I think that's the only thing. But also, we do have our in race reporter here waiting on us. We can see, obviously Diego, or Andres, we know him very well here as up in the booth. But we'll see if we can talk to him, see if he can give us a little bit more insight on how the racing was tonight. Andreas says Christian Matthew up in the booth got a copy.
Yeah, I got you.
Well, obviously, you made it into the race nonetheless. There, finishing inside the top 3 or 4, and so congratulations first on that. But obviously, our in-race reporter here on the network, walk us through at least for that first duel, what the racing was like. Obviously, racing with some for you, especially since this is your first race here in the ARC Pro Series, but also just racing around some of these new drivers. What was the feeling, with these first couple laps here in that duel?
Well, of course, at first I was a little bit nervous because there was a lot of drivers joining into the race. There was a good amount of people that were gonna go ahead and miss out. So of course, the first moment that I was like nervous was on the qualifying. So started qualified at P18. I was okay. I'm gonna go ahead and take it easy. I'm not gonna start doing some 3 wide maneuvers. I'm pretty sure these guys are gonna go ahead and be careful. I've seen, of course, commentating all these races the last year the last season, on this year. It gave me a little bit of clue of how everybody runs, and of course, I saw the crews getting involved into the back straightaway. I was following the 81, being pushed by Fidel. I knew that Fidel was gonna be like pretty much following me around since we were pretty much like trying to keep up with the Toyota guys. And well, like you just know that in Daytona you want to go ahead and like have teammates or like teammates with manufacturers. So I knew that Fidel was a Toyota. I tried to go ahead and stay with him, and I stayed within the line. And when I saw that the line at the top line was the one that was getting the runs, I stayed over the top. Even when I got behind Bryson, I stayed over the top because I knew that the top was gonna be the one to get a good roll, especially on the straightaways as well the backstretch. However, if you were gonna have a good, I don't know if you saw it, but I saw so many times where the bottom, if they were very good organized, they were able to go ahead and like pull some position ahead. If the top was not organized, so I was a little bit squirrely on the last lap. I got pushed like multiple times by Fidel trying to go ahead and put me on the lead. I got a little bit loose some moments. And then in the last lap, I saw the 16. Like I was trying to push Bryson because I told him I was gonna work with him. So I was trying to push Bryson, and then I saw the 16. By the way, congrats to Travis to win that duel. But I saw Travis like going all over the place. So I tried to go ahead and avoid him. and tried to avoid him, got me into a bad spot that I almost took out Bryson Bird in the last lap. So, of course, I gave him like the apologize over there, and then Travis trying to go ahead and like keep up with the three wide. He didn't want the three wide, and I'm pretty much almost put the worst plug I've ever seen. But I tried to look at the big picture right here, and took the second place on the first duel. So I will take it. Of course, trying to go ahead and um, have a very good relaxed tool. Try to go ahead and like figure it out how these guys race, how these guys are making these pushes. But I'm glad I was able to go ahead and put this GameStop 84 on the P2 and pretty much start the main event, the 250 on P6.
Well, we definitely appreciate your time up here in the booth once again, Diego, and we wish you good luck next week. Your season debut here in the ARC iRacing Pro Series. We wish you good luck there in the 250 there next week from Friday. We'll let you go there, get ready, and looking forward to see that 84 back on track.
All right, thank you guys, and have a good one. Good luck.
Always love to hear from Diego up here in the booth, and obviously, Matthew, he kind of put a big light on the fact of everybody just trying to find their way around with these new drivers, with the new cars, and everybody just trying to find their fitting here in these duels to look forward into next week into that 250 race.
Yeah, you're exactly right, Christian. And Diego, our close friend here at the network, he really took the words right out of my mouth. Just being able to understand that when you're not used to driving around a lot of these other drivers in the field on both ends of things, right, from both of the respective origins of entry for this league now, that unfamiliarity makes you anxious. It makes you on edge. And so when you're not able to have that full confidence coming to a track like this, where you need to rely on trusting whoever's around you, trusting your drafting partner, right, and understanding the behaviors and the limitations of those around you, when you don't have that, it really takes away from that confidence level. And so I think it's going to be really, really interesting time next weekend to be able to see who's able to overcome that, right? Who's able to put all that aside and say, hey, you know what? At the end of the day, this is a super speedway race at Daytona. I'm coming here to get it done regardless of who's around me, regardless of who's here to help me. And that's going to be, the best thing for me is just being able to see who is able to maximize on the opportunity that's in front of them, given all these crazy circumstances. But until then, I'm definitely going to be looking forward to, pretty much just having a good weekend. And I think a lot of these drivers likewise are going to be resting up and getting ready for that big race.
I definitely agree, and we are excited to see, looking forward to see how this first race of Season 7 for the ARC Pro Series comes to be, right? Everybody trying to converge together here from the World Center of Racing, as we appreciate everybody for coming out and enjoy, and I appreciate everybody for coming out. A lot of new fans and a lot of new watchers to the broadcast, thanks to, the influx in drivers. So we appreciate it for coming out, whether you're watching over on High Velocity TV, over on the YouTube channel, or over on twitch.tv/ChristianBoss13. We appreciate all the love and support over there, but I think it's time to call it a night here from the virtual Daytona International Speedway here for the ARC iRacing Pro Series here, once again from Daytona for the Daytona Duels. Once again, my name is Christian Delgado, alongside Matthew Prochaski for the second half of tonight's broadcast. We look forward to seeing you guys next week, for next Friday, for the 250, the big race here to start week number 1. Tomorrow, the ISNF Cup Series duels. We'll be back here on High Velocity TV for some next gen racing there from the World Center of Racing once again here from Daytona International Speedway. We look forward to that as we bring in some new drivers at the ISNF Cup Series. But once again, we hope everybody has a great rest of your Friday night. Enjoy the race weekend there from North Wilkesboro there and their IRL stuff. I look forward to seeing how the racing there goes from there. But once again, we appreciate everyone for coming out, and you've been watching ARC Pro Series production from High Velocity TV. Hope everybody has a great rest of the night, and we'll see you guys soon.